First of all, I want to thank Patricia Cristal and the team from Navient for hosting us today. We have a press conference right after this one to celebrate the ribbon cutting at Navient's new office right here at the Wilmington Riverfront, and we very much appreciate you making this space available to us. I'm joined today by Don Weber, who is a North District Engineer for DelDOT, and Mark Alexander, who is Head of Maintenance and Operations for the Department of Transportation. I want to thank the hundreds of folks from DelDOT who have been working since the middle of the night to salt and to plow Delaware roads. The Delaware Emergency Management Agency activated its Emergency Operations Center at 7 o'clock last night and is working along with emergency responders across the state to monitor conditions caused by the winter storm and to take appropriate action. So I want to thank everybody there and all of the other agencies across the state who are working to help us get through this storm safely. We have seen some accidents and disabled vehicles that needed to be towed overnight. I also want to thank all of the employees at state hospitals and other facilities that have to stay open regardless of the weather. And I thank them for the incredible jobs that they do to ensure all of our essential operations continue to run as well as possible. We expect snowfall totals of about 4 to 6 inches in Newcastle County and 6 to 10 in Kent and Sussex counties. The National Weather Service's winter storm warning remains in effect through 10 o'clock this morning. We're making good progress on the roads, but particularly with the freezing temperatures that we've experienced this week, we expect conditions to be hazardous throughout the day. State offices will remain closed. The most important message for Delawareans this morning is to please be cautious on the roadways and to leave plenty of extra time for your trip. Bus services are running, but please plan for delays. Employers should evaluate for themselves whether and when their facilities will be safe and the status of road conditions in their vicinity. We encourage drivers who do not need to travel to delay or to refrain from going on the roads in order to give DelDOT plows the time and ability to work efficiently. Our initial focus has been on the primary roads such as I-95 and Route 1, I-495. Please note that the speed limits on some of the highways have been reduced. DelDOT crews have done a great job limiting the snow accumulation. These highways are passable due to salting and repeated plowing, but because the snow has been falling until very recently this morning, they're now covered with a thin layer of packed snow. We're going to need to continue to focus on them before working on less busy routes. Turn lanes and off-ramps, as well as secondary and minor roads, are snow-covered, and they will be especially problematic. We're going to continue to do all we can to keep the roads as safe as possible and to clear the snow as quickly as possible. Especially in the southern part of Delaware, it'll be some time before we can meaningfully address secondary roads that are covered with snow and ice. They may not be attended to until the snowfall stops a little bit later. DelDOT is responsible for 13,000 miles of road, and we ask for everybody's patience. And you can view real time more than 130 traffic cameras on the DelDOT.gov website. That's DelDOT.gov, and the traffic cameras give you access to looking at roads really throughout the state. Moving forward, we're constantly evaluating whether any additional warnings need to be issued to drivers throughout the state, but we don't have plans to put in place any driving restrictions as long as conditions remain as expected. One final reminder, motorists who must travel should use real caution as driving conditions can change rapidly depending upon where you're going. And remember to reduce your speed and to increase your following distance between vehicles, allow ample time to reach your destination, and use headlights to increase visibility. If you should have vehicle problems, stay with your vehicle. We are regularly being updated by the National Weather Service on the forecast and its impact on the state, and we're going to use that information coupled with updates from various state agencies and local municipalities to keep residents informed via the web at news.delaware.gov or at dema.delaware.gov, and we'll also be active on social media. So that's everything I've got for now. I'll be happy to take any questions if you have any.
Anecdotally, just your own ride in here today, obviously a pretty day in Delaware, but how are the roads that what you saw?
It definitely made me feel like we, made the right call in terms of the secondary roads. Ours were pretty slippery. Where we were, we Didn't see any accidents on the way in, but it needs to warm up a little bit. We just need to give the folks from DelDOT time to plow some of the secondary roads.
I guess this morning, we spent time along your North DuPont Highway there, and there were plow trains that came through and they put down salt. It didn't seem to move things. I guess we're used to the mid-Atlantic where things snow at 32 degrees,
Yeah.
31 degrees. There was a considerable difference. It was 12 or 14 or something like that. It looked like Chicago. Maybe this might be the DelDOT guy's answer on this one. Can you give us some sense of that sort of ratio that you have to have sodium chloride to temperature and what to expect? And I'll ask you
I think that's a great-
microphones if you don't mind.
We certainly reached the point last night with the temperatures, air and pavement temperatures both, where the salt really was not very effective at all. As we get solar gain today, and the pavement temperatures come up, air temperatures come up, you'll really see that pack that exists on the roadways break up, and we should make pretty good headway this morning. So.
But you're not going to break 30, I don't think, freezing for
No.
the next 4 days.
But we'll still warm up pavement temperatures. We'll get probably at freezing or a little bit above freezing today, just with the bit of solar gain that we get even through the clouds.
Just a little bit of sunshine
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to be up in the mid to upper 20s today,
Right.
and we gain as much as 20 degrees from, the air temp to the surface temp at the peak part of the day.
So you'll be able to gain that.
So we'll be good.
Anybody else? Well, thank you very much. Anybody on the phone have any questions?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
what sort of made your option to close the state government? Why that?
So, and that's really, that was the call that we made at about 4:45 this morning. And for me, it really, there are two major things that go into that decision. First of all was the condition of the secondary roads.
The presenter
And-
has allowed participants to unmute themselves.
So the first was the condition of the secondary roads. And the fact that DelDOT told us this morning at 4:30 that they would not be in a position to get to a lot of the secondary roads until around noon was important. And then the second thing is just the amount of time that it takes the facilities people to clear the facilities. And so on that 4:30 call, we get to hear from the facilities people who are already out. I mean, there's a lot that goes into these decisions, and there are like a lot of folks. In fact, Mark was saying he's already been to Lewis this morning, all the way down, sort of checking out the conditions of the roads. And we have people, checking. Not only we hear from the Weather Service, we hear from the state police, both downstate and up here. We hear from local governments. We hear from facilities people, and we hear from DelDOT. And so, based on all that information, you try to make the best decision possible.
Are the crews on 12-hour shifts, and how late do you think they'll be working today to clear the roads?
We will actually be working around the clock. We're going to be breaking our crews into shifts to get sleep this afternoon. And then we bring that group back up and have them work into the evening. We'll be back at full strength probably later this evening. But for now, we're putting down what we call quarter crews around lunchtime, and we'll have them available to us during the rush hours. We in total have about 140 personnel and trucks on the roads in Newcastle County, and I think about 300
Well, that's in North.
Right.
There is over 500 employees.
Statewide.
Involved in a snow operation. There's over 300 trucks pushing. I think it's like 330, so.
And then as the temperatures dip again tonight, you guys will be out there on the roads?
Correct. Yeah, probably all the way through tomorrow rush hour in the morning.
I know another concern earlier this morning was maybe we're not seeing, because we actually have snow this time, so maybe we're not seeing the plow trucks as often as we should. The roads aren't looking as good. I know it was explained either by PennDOT or by you, I'm not sure, that it takes a while for the trucks to circle through the roof.
It does. On a couple of our routes, it takes about an hour for them to make a round trip when they're plowing on I-95. And then when you start to add in traffic that may be moving a little bit more slowly, that can delay us. I think one of the things that we're not used to seeing, and it was mentioned earlier, is that the salt just was not as effective at the temperatures. We're used to seeing bare pavement very quick once a plow train goes through, and we didn't see that today
That's because of the temperature.
because of the temperatures.
We were down around 11, you got a lot of snowpack there, so you're used to seeing them go through, and like he's saying, there'll be bare pavement, but there's still snowpack there until the temperatures get higher.
Okay, well, thank you all very much. And just one floor down is the matter of the day.